Hey guys, Marsingin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today I wanted to talk about my predictions for the banner lineups coming out tomorrow for the fusing Goku and Vegeta into VEGITO Blue and the fusion ZAMASU. Basically, we are going to take a look at the banner from last year. Well, both the Dokkan Fest banners, right? Because obviously we have confirmation in the news. There was a leak on Twitter. I made a video about it, but we have the confirmation in the actual news itself now in game that both the Part 1 banners are Dokkan Fest exclusive banners. So that means the banners should basically be versions of these two, right? Obviously, Cooler was in Part 1 alongside the Carnival Tech Super Saiyan Goku banner, and then the AGL Super Saiyans banner was in Part 2 alongside the Carnival Metal Cooler. But we're getting both the Dokkan Festival banners in Part 1, so these should mirror each other. I mean, they still followed the similar format last year, even though they were separated between the parts. Like all these units being on the banners that were part of dual Dokkan Festivals, their partners were just on the other banners anyway, so they still followed the same kind of logic that they normally do. So we can take a look at these and basically determine what we're going to see on these new banners. Now, obviously this isn't going to be completely accurate, but as far as the first few predictions go, I think it's probably going to be spot on. And there's only really like a couple of places where I think that we could go wrong. So obviously both of the banners are going to have the new unit, and then the Dokkan Fest banners have a side banner unit. So Cooler's banner had the STR Piccolo, who's still a GOAT to this day. So hopefully, you know, this is the time, right? Side banner units can sometimes be hit or miss. Let's have another one as good as STR Piccolo, please. Because unfortunately the Worldwide also gave us the Tech Gohan and Krillin, who were nowhere near as good or long-lasting as the STR Piccolo. So I haven't spent any time trying to think of who I think these should be. I feel like the Fusion Zamasu, probably just some other form of Zamasu, I guess. Or you could, I guess, have a Zamasu and Goku Black as a side banner like TUR, as long as it's base Goku Black, right? So it doesn't share the same name as the LR. I guess that could be kind of interesting. And then for the VEGITO banner, I would expect to see either like a Mai or Trunks and Mai, maybe even like Gowasu and Supreme Kai. Like, I'm not really too sure. I wasn't really going to spend a huge amount of time thinking about it, but obviously both banners are going to have the new unit and the side banner unit, and you know, that just goes without saying, right? So the first one that we can look at that should be pretty much a straight shot here is the fact that both banners had the previous year's Worldwide Celebration LR. So Cooler's banner had Namek Goku, and the Super Saiyans banner had Full Power Frieza. So that means it should really go without saying that these banners will most likely feature STR LR Cooler and the AGL LR Super Saiyans. So the Super Saiyans, I was never too big on them when they first came out. I know a lot of people are in the same boat. They do have a very good leader skill, because obviously they lead every single like Goku and Vegeta card in a 200% leader skill. So you definitely can make very good teams out of them. And they can perform reasonably well. Like if we get a new difficult boss, if one of the later stages of the Red Zone ends with like a difficult STR boss, then these guys could potentially still be useful in that event. And then, of course, Cooler has aged fairly well. I mean, defensively, he's still very much at a point where in the hardest events that we're getting now, you want him to be getting his additional supers, and then he is going to have enough defense to be able to tank. I mean, all the new Red Zone stages that have come out so far, Cell and the Goku Black, I've seen people posting no item runs with Cooler's team. So Cooler's still one of the better extreme units in the game. So him and the Super Saiyans being featured on the banner, I feel like are basically a shoe-in, right? So then when we look at the next units, now we had on last year's Worldwide Celebration, Blue Evolution Vegeta and the AGL UI Goku. So these were the 6th anniversary LRs. So, I mean, whilst it could be any of the previous anniversary LRs, I suppose, it kind of makes sense that if last year's were the 6th, now as we move forward another year into the future, that the units in this slot on both the banners would be the 7th anniversary LRs. Now, it'd be interesting because with Power Beyond Super Saiyan and all movie heroes and then Kamehameha, VEGITO Blue will be on these guys' teams, right? Because of Power Beyond Super Saiyan. He'll probably have some version of the Kamehameha, right? So he'll be on their 200% lead. And then these guys, Fused Fighters, VEGITO Blue and Zamasu will actually both be on this category. And then, of course, again, VEGITO will be on Kamehameha. So I can definitely see these guys being on there. I know a lot of people think that they have aged badly now, but I feel that they can still be quite useful. In fact, I have a video going up a bit later today after this one of using the Fused Fighters team with the LR Super Saiyan 4s against the Red Zone Goku Black, which was a pretty good run. So I still really like these units, and getting new very powerful units to run alongside them is going to be super awesome. Like, we obviously don't know anything about the kits or anything yet, but I can imagine, since it's very easy to get these guys to transform, imagine once you get this guy out and you have him next to the new LR VEGITO Blue. Like, if imagine LR VEGITO Blue is an absolute god slot 1 unit, and then you have this guy in slot 2. Now, obviously, there are certain links, like this guy doesn't have the God links, VEGITO Blue's not going to have Saiyan Raw, but these are just 2 very powerful units, like the Fused Fighters team getting a significant buff, right? So I feel like these 2 definitely could be on the team, and they both still can hold their own reasonably well, right, when it comes to the current level of content. So next up after them, the slot after them in the banners was the Worldwide Celebration unit from, obviously the previous one was the Frieza and Goku, and then the one before that, so Vegito and Buhan. So again, if we were going to follow that same strain again, then that means we would still cycle back around to the Namek Goku and the Full Power Frieza. So now these 2 definitely a little bit outdated at this point. Now we're still waiting for Buhan and Vegito to get an Easy A, so I don't see these guys getting an Easy A really anytime soon. So these guys unfortunately just kind of filling that slot now of being the slightly older Dokkan Fest exclusive LRs, who unfortunately are probably not going to be good pulls at this point in the game, like cycle in the meta, for a lot of people, which is a shame, because obviously they were fantastic units when they came out, but I imagine they will fill those slots on the banner here that were Buhan and Vegito. So the next slot after them was the Goku and Gohan, and then the Cell, and these of course were the Golden Week units from last year. So that means that the Golden Week units from this year should return in this spot, and that is of course the 23rd World Tournament Goku and the Int Piccolo Jr., and this is their first return on both versions of the game. So I know a lot of people are very excited for these. One of the good things about the banners being a dual Dokkan festival is if you really wanted one of these guys and not the other, you didn't have to end up with the unfortunate situation where the one you really wanted was on the banner that was going to be in part 2. So these guys will be on the 2 banners, which means they will be not only available to potentially pick up in your summons, but also available with red coins. I only have both of these guys at 55% because my luck during the Golden Week was not the best, so I am definitely looking forward to getting dupes for both of these units. Piccolo Jr. especially can be absolutely incredible. Even at 55%, I am still often blown away by this unit's performance, so I absolutely cannot wait to get extra copies of him. Hopefully I will pull some from the summons and then I won't have to use many red coins, but honestly I might just end up, if I manage to get him to like 79% or even 90% in the summons, I might actually just get the last copy with the coins to rainbow him, because I do have a lot of coins. I don't normally recommend people rainbow units with coins, but this unit is just absolutely incredible. And obviously at some point soon we're going to get another world tournament, and this guy is just now head and shoulders above every other unit in the game in terms of being the best world tournament unit, right? Because you just have the animation skip on, flick up to do his active skill, and you kill the entire enemy team and you win. So very, very good. And Goku obviously still good as well. He can let you down with his not getting guards, so you really want to get a revival character to revive as soon as possible with him. But he does have good options like the 8th anniversary LR, the GT duo, but both these units very, very good, and they should come back on those slots in the banner. So next up after them, we had the Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan 3 Goku and the STR Kid Buu. Now, those guys were the New Year's units from JP. This was before we had New Year obviously shared. So last year, for the first time, New Year was shared on both versions. And it was, of course, the LR Piccolo and the LR Ultimate Gohan. So in theory, these guys should be featured on both the banners as well. And it means no having to do weird shenanigans, because for JP, they would come back on a banner sometimes like the New Year's units, and then Global would get a different unit instead because the pacing was different. But because both versions got these units for New Year's last year, and I believe they've returned once so far, So these guys should both return on the Worldwide Celebration banners as well. So as you can see, a lot of big ticket units. Piccolo's still up there as being one of the best units in the game. Gohan, whilst obviously a disappointment to many people for a bunch of different reasons, is a very good unit. And when, as I've said many times, I did a recent video with him against the Red Zone Cell, when he goes off, he goes off. Like, sometimes you have to work for it. Sometimes he can be disappointing, right, with the chance to super not going off or whatever. But when he does go off, he is a very, very good unit. So him being featured on the banner, if you don't have him or you need more copies of him, obviously is pretty good. And of course, again, same with Piccolo, because he is absolutely fantastic. So then we have the final bit here that's going to be kind of like the wild card. So on this banner, we had Namek Goku and then the AGL Kid Gohan. And on this banner, we had the Metal Cooler, but we also had the Gohan and the Gotenks and the Fat Buu, because these guys were their own dual Dokkan Fest. This banner one was kind of weird for the setup. I'm not really sure why, which one was missing from these, but these guys both being on the same banner while being from the same dual Dokkan Fest. I think this is one of the only times they've done this in another dual Dokkan Festival. I'm probably wrong. Someone can let me know in the comments. But these last two SSR slots are the ones that I think are a little bit up in the air. However, I do think one of them is a pretty good guess, and that is where we have Namek Goku on this banner and Metal Cooler on this banner. Remember, both of these units got Easy A's during the Worldwide Celebration last year. And who do we know is getting an Easy A in Part 1 and has no Easy A banner announced in the news? That's right, Tech Trunks and AGL ZAMASU. So these guys, their Easy A is in the news, but there was no mention of an Easy A banner. So I think these guys are going to take that slot of Namek Goku and Metal Cooler on the Dokkan Fest banners and be featured units, which is really good for anyone who needs extra copies of them. And obviously, if you do have them rainbowed already, you could pull some extra copies during your summons, and at least you can use those as free level ups once you've done the Easy A. I know some people don't like doing that because obviously you have to farm the 77 medals again to awaken them, so you can feed them into the SA10 copy that you've just Easy A'd, but I personally think it's worth doing if you want to save some Kais. I actually have copies of both of these guys awakened at SA5 already, just from summons throughout the years. As soon as Easy A's became a thing, I've just kind of started saving second SA5 copies of Dokkan Fest exclusives, right? So I think these guys will be featured on the banner. Now, the last slot is very random. So all I really decided to do to pick the last slot is I went and looked at who released in Gohan's spot but the year later, and who released in the Gotenks and Buu slot but a year later. And those two SSRs were the Tech Pan and the Int ROF Blues. So obviously it could be, I feel like it could just be any two SSRs. I mean, realistically, as the final featured unit on the banner, they could just literally throw something at a dartboard with pictures of Dokkan Fest exclusives on it. Because if you look at the banners, like, I guess Kid Gohan is in the Cooler movie, but this Kid Gohan has no relevance to like the Cooler banner. And Gotenks and Buu absolutely have no relevance to the AGL Super Saiyans banner. So I felt like picking the two that were in the similar time slots was potentially a way to go. But these last two SSRs on the banner could be basically anyone. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What do you think of the picks that I have gone for? Like I say, I'm locking these two in as my prediction for the last SSRs, but I do definitely think that they could be basically anyone at this point. But this is what I am expecting to see. So we're going to get the new units and the new side banner units. We're going to get Cooler and the AGL Super Saiyans, the 7-year LRs, Namek, Goku, and Full Power Frieza, the Golden Week 23rd World Tournament Goku and Imp Piccolo Jr., LR Piccolo and LR Ultimate Gohan, Tech Trunks, AGL Zamasu, and then Tech Pan and the Int ROF Blues. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Which banner do you think you're going to go for first? Obviously, we don't know the details of the Zamasu and the VEGITO's kits. I know a lot of people are just super hyped for VEGITO already. The whole thing about him having like a unique double Spirit Sword Dokkan original animation is super hyped. So I know a lot of people are very, very excited for that. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. If your predictions for the banner differ to mine, let me know what you think they'll look like down below. And yeah, I'm going to be live tomorrow for the Dokkan Now announcement. It does start at like 3 AM UK time, so very early day for me. But I will be live over on the channel, so hopefully I will see you guys there. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.